Welcome back to the Unwritten Rule presented by FanDuel. Today is Friday, November 21st, and Mizzou football has a ranked matchup again. The Tigers got ranked in the college football playoff poll, so they are number 22 Mizzou officially going into Oklahoma this week. Number 8 Oklahoma, I guess I should say the other team's ranking if I'm going to say Mizzou's. Big matchup for the Tigers on the road. We're going to preview it. We also we will have hoops to talk about. Me and Payton recapped the Pavamu game, which we're recording this part of the show on a Wednesday, and that feels like an eternity ago to me that Monday night game happened. And then we'll also have a South Dakota recap and quick hit. So packed show, but we are going to start, gentlemen, with a little look at Oklahoma. Missouri, they are 7.5-point road dogs on FanDuel. The over-under in this game is 41.5. Oklahoma, like I mentioned, they're number 8. They are 8-2. They are 4-2 in the SEC. They have lost to Texas and Ole Miss. Since that Ole Miss loss, they have beaten Tennessee and Alabama. One at Alabama last weekend. Maybe a letdown spot for Mizzou. Someone tells me Payton's going to say no to that. Mizzou won this game last year. What?
You mean Oklahoma?
Sorry, letdown game for Oklahoma. Sorry. Thank you for the clarification.
The Tigers put all their eggs in the Mississippi State basket. They weren't ready for Oklahoma.
49 points, too many. They wasted them all on Mississippi State. Oklahoma lost this game. Missouri won it last year. It was 30-13. Missouri was number 24 that time. So actually they're higher ranked this week than they were in that game last year, which is kind of funny. Payton, I will just open-end it to you from a Missouri standpoint. Obviously the big thing heading into it is whether or not Bo Prabula is going to suit up. It seems like he is trending that way. We are, like I said, recording this on Wednesday, so we don't have the benefit of the SEC availability report, which Drinkwitz clarified is where you will get your information from, or apparently, some other Twitter sources, which I don't know why we're still like going to war with people who scoop things, but we are. Your thoughts on that?
That was like the 11th most notable thing he said in that presser too.
It's funny too, because like, where do you think some of those reporters are getting the information? Half the time.
Right. We don't know. Well-embedded moles is, I believe, what John Rothstein refers to them as. Yeah, I guess I'll open it up to that. You know, we've made Eli Drinkwitz's comments a theme the last 2 shows. We might as well do it again. I guess what was the biggest thing for you that he talked about in his presser this week? We could just start there as we dive into Oklahoma.
Yeah, shove Oklahoma to the side for a second because it's carousel season at this point. Missouri's season is effectively over. Even if they won this game, they'd still need all hell to break loose to make the college football playoff. And that, of course, assumes they go on and take care of their business against Arkansas as well. I don't even know really where to begin. It just turned into a cartoon. It felt like half the time at that presser. And it's still not even the most seemingly circus-like situation around a coach in the SEC right now, with all the drama surrounding Lane Kiffin down in Oxford this week. But I mean, Drink had some pretty notable ones. He had the he didn't flat out say that he's not looking at other jobs, which again, he's not going to say at this point. You're really just looking for things to be angry at, I think, if you're getting angry about that. He's not going to show his hand right now. And to be honest, I don't even know if Drinkwitz really knows what he's going to do right now. It really wouldn't shock me if he's undecided on whether he's going to take a job if he's offered it or stay at Mizzou. And I, quite frankly, while there's 2 games left on the schedule, I'm not going to even bother worrying about it. I'm really just ready for this to reach a conclusion. Either Drink is gone and it's a fun coaching search season. I have a whole hot board ready for X, the Everything app. It all happens on X and, of course, the show. But I would really prefer Drink just stays and a good thing keeps on rolling. But either way, Drinkwitz gave no real clarity. He did mention, I think his family's very happy. Someone did get the clip of him talking after, I think it was his last App State press conference, and it was kind of similar. Again, Drinkwitz is not going to leave tomorrow. He's not going to leave before Arkansas. For the next 2 weeks, I think you can safely assume Drinkwitz will still be a Missouri Tiger. So I think it's kind of wasting. It's just not productive thinking to go back and forth on it until there really is something to react to in that regard. The one that stuck out to me was the whole comments on Olabode and Zollers, how he mentioned it's a quote, he used the term wishful thinking, I think, in regards to keeping them both. And then on Tiger Talk, he kind of clarified. He was like, hey, we're going to keep those two guys in the fold, which is, I think, more what fans wanted to hear. Again, I don't think that's something to overreact to either. You have to go back and really look over the years. Missouri obviously lost a lot of freshmen last year. Kawan Lacey, I think, is the one that was most impactful because I think most people expected him to be the starter this year had he not left. But I mean, in the entirety of Drink's tenure, I think you can only look at two guys that were really already entrenched, productive starters that have left just because Missouri seemingly didn't throw the bag at them. And even with the one of them being Mekhi Wingo, there was a lot that went into that, I think. The other, of course, was Dominic Lovett. They just lost him. And I think it really didn't matter in hindsight. They brought in Theo Weiss, who was, the rest is history in that regard. But yeah, a lot of just kind of a frenzy on social media and just everywhere else reacting to the press conferences. That's just how it's going to be the next 2 weeks. But it's going to get us closer to an answer.
I think you covered most of it, Payton. I guess the only other thing that Drinkwitz did talk about was he did add a little bit more to the Fortune 500 comments that popped up. And one of my favorite things that he said about this, and I talked with Kyle on the Mizzou Today show, is that he said he didn't know exactly what was said just on the broadcast. I don't believe that. For a guy who's really online and someone that was pretty much just quoting some things that he saw on social media recently, how did he not see that clip, or how did he not know what was brought up after he was in that meeting with the SEC staff that called that game, ESPN staff? So I thought that was funny. But so yeah, I think he added a little bit more to that, just wanting more support. And I think college fans as a whole are being asked for so much just from schools already, with wanting to donate to NIL, and there's a little piece of your tuition that goes to the NIL pool with, oh, if you sign up for this, you can pay $20 a week to donate to your football team and be a part of it. Heck, I've seen people joke on Twitter that they just rather their tax dollars go to the football team than anything else because that's the only thing they care about. So I thought that was interesting where he did, mention a little bit more about, he wants to work with any NIL opportunity they have with those Fortune 500 companies, billionaires, millionaires within the state, doing anything they can to just keep bringing in more players. And, he even said that he's in order to win, we have to have the best players. Yes, they have good players on this team. They could have even more with more support. And I think that's really just a pitch from everyone. I think that's the next level that we talked about in last show, is that, he's gotten all these things already for Mizzou. He's got new lights. He's got multiple extensions. He's made his pool bigger for his assistants. Heck, they've making Memorial Stadium look more like an SEC stadium than a Big 12 stadium. They've taken so many steps over these past 6 years. And this is just that next one that I think you have to try to take in order to keep a coach that really turned around the image of Missouri.
Yeah, it was good to get some follow-up on that because that was obviously, a hot button. I agree with you, Kenny. I don't believe for a minute that he didn't know that was going to be said. I mean, if you're telling the play-by-play guy of the game anything, you just, you have to probably assume it's on record unless, you have that relationship, I guess. But, I think that was important. Payton, I appreciate what you said too, to go back with the Olubade and Zollers stuff, thinking about Quan Lacey and Mekhi Wingo, Dominic Lovett, these people who have left. It does happen. It feels like with how well we know Drink at this point, he was trying to articulate a larger point and, was being a little bit over dramatic with it, which he tends to do. and probably, put his foot in his mouth a little bit with regard to the specific situations for Zollers and Alubades. So yeah, I wasn't necessarily overreacting either. I don't think a coach would outright say it's wishful thinking that we're going to keep our, future superstar wide receiver and potentially quarterback as well. But yeah, I think, I mean, it's important to bring up. I know too, with the coaching stuff, there was the person that, what was someone posted the video, was it from him from App State? And he had kind of similar sounding comments.
That's what Payton was talking about. Yeah. So it was his last game. It was the Sun Belt Championship.
Yeah.
And then the next day was the day he was announced as the Missouri head coach, right, Payton?
That's right.
I don't remember the exact time.
Okay, I'll look it up while you keep talking, Jack.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of funny because, he used those exact words like, I'm happy with what we're building here or whatever. And, people can read into that all they want. But yeah, I don't think we're going to have any answers. I'm glad, Mizzou isn't doing some sort of thing. I haven't even read into, I've been meaning to, the whole Kiffin situation where, what does he have until, is it the 28th or something to make a decision?
There was like a rumor that he was like given an ultimatum until the Egg Bowl, but he denied it. That's just a crazy situation down there.
So it could always be, worse potentially, if you want to call it that.
So I found it, the Sun Belt Championship that year. This is even cooler. Do you know who Drinkwitz faced in the Sun Belt Championship this year?
They faced Billy Napier, didn't they?
Yeah, it was Billy Napier, 10-2 against 11-1. That's an awesome matchup. Drinkwitz came out 45-38. That was on December 7th. Missouri officially announced Drinkwitz as the head coach at 8 a.m. 2 days later. 3 days later on December 12th. Or December 10th. I'm so sorry. Yeah.
He's so sorry.
Third time.
God, how could you do that, man? Yeah, that's it's funny that there's some parallels that run there, but again, I don't think this is something that's going to be resolved anytime soon. I think Payton's right in terms of the mindset that I'm taking with it. Like, I'm not going to worry about it when there's still regular season games left on the table. I do think he is focused on trying to do his best in those and put Missouri in a position to win them, and then whatever happens behind closed doors happens behind closed doors, and it'll get announced when it gets announced. But that doesn't stop anybody from speculating and doing all of that stuff. I've been prodding Payton privately what I asked him about one name in particular on his hot board if it happens. I'm not going to raise that name here, but I'm intrigued if that hot board ever has to come
anyone
out
the door.
No, not at all. But it is fun.
I did tweet the three I would like as a joke. Like I quote tweeted a quote Drink had with my three guys. Like if Drink were to leave, but
I think
it's a real thing to ponder. But
yeah,
again, he's not gone yet.
I don't think that's ever a bad thing to do, though. Like sports, we're sports fans. We live in hypotheticals. That's what you do. You're always, whether it's a pro team, you're speculating, oh, forget this guy in free agency or the draft, how it'll be. I don't know. I don't think it's a bad thing, but we shall see. A lot of rumors swirling. But with this game for Oklahoma, obviously, again, to go back to the biggest, kind of storyline going into that particular one, it is Bo Pribula. He clearly has been fast-tracked. It feels like a miracle to me, given how bad that injury looked, how much it seems like he's been able to get through it this quickly, which is great for him. You want to see a guy get back out there. How do you guys evaluate Mizzou's chances with him, without him? What is the biggest thing for you guys for the Tigers when you look at this matchup? That I don't think any of us are talking ourselves into Missouri winning this game, but maybe a matchup they can win to put themselves in a position to potentially maybe not lose the game by 2 touchdowns. How about that?
Yeah, again, I mean, we don't know the status of Pribula for sure, one way or the other. I think it clearly seems like it's trending in the right direction, considering he was warming up with no brace or anything last Saturday. I will say I don't expect them to win this game with or without Pribula. I certainly think that if Pribula is healthy, he has to be the one that goes out there. I don't think you can throw Zollers out there if Pribula is healthy while you're still kind of fighting. I know it's really effectively over, but there is the smallest of chances. Like if they beat Oklahoma, they could, and chaos breaks out, they could climb up into the top 12 potentially. You never know. Um, but this is a game that
was that fleeting college football playoff talk from Payton of all
yeah,
people?
that'll be about all for
Is-
me.
that
But
what
I
I
mean,
just
even
heard?
if you more realistically, a win here puts you in the driver's seat to get to 9-3. That's like Citrus Bowl range there. That's something Mizzou's never played in. That's the best non-playoff bowl game you can get at this point. That's something I'd love to see them in. It'd be another Big Ten matchup. Unless who knows with the bowl ties anymore, it gets weird. But getting back on track with the game, I mean, this is the game I look at. Two of the best defenses in the SEC. The closest comparable thing Mizzou has faced this year is Auburn, and Mizzou could not get its run game in gear for even a drive against Auburn. That it's very similar against Oklahoma. Oklahoma is a fantastic run defense. They're even more ferocious rushing the passer. They have one of the best pass rushers in the nation, and R. Mason Thomas, who's got 6.5 sacks this year. They have, I counted through the numbers earlier.
I think R. Mason Thomas is out.
He's out for this game?
I thought I'll look at my text real quick, but I got a text that he might be hurt.
I didn't see that, but even without that, I mean, they have 8 guys on the team. That certainly changes things if he is out, but without him, there's 8 guys on this team.
He did not play against Alabama.
Yeah, so I got a text that said Wayne is the typical starter at left end, but played a lot of right end against Alabama because R. Mason Thomas is hurt.
Wow. Okay, so that clearly changes the calculus a bit, but still,
I don't
8 guys on that team with 2 or more sacks. I cut it off at 2 because David Stone has 1.5, and I didn't want to mention him. So it's a ferocious D line. It's going to give Mizzou a whole lot of trouble up front if they aren't really playing at the top of their game. We saw what happened against Auburn. The offense really was stuck in the mud. It actually took like a pretty good Perbula, a good set of plays from Perbula to kind of get them in gear. So that's why I think Perbula playing gives them a lot better of a chance. Obviously, you don't want a true freshman making his 3rd career start in a game like this on the road either, against a team that just beat Alabama. But yeah, it's a game that I think first team to 20. Like if a team is able to reach 20 in this game, I think that's it. Like I expect a rock fight. I predicted that last week too, and it was a shootout. But this time I mean it. These two defenses are the best units on the field by a landslide.
37 sacks, by the way, for Oklahoma, second in the nation behind the Texas A&M Aggies. So at least Mizzou's seen something like that before.
Yeah.
What an introduction to college football too for someone who didn't even get to finish his senior season due to injury and has a step up for 2 guys that got hurt in Matt Zollers. And you have to face 2 top 10 teams, 2 teams that are bound, likely bound for the college football playoff. I mean, that's a pretty good welcome, especially if maybe you're not going to play the last week of the season if Bo Perbula is ready for that one. I did really see this one as a close one too. There's a lot of good film out there. You know, I definitely recommend, just look up defensive line film from Alabama or from Oklahoma. Pretty incredible stuff. There's a lot of stunts, a lot of pulling of offensive linemen, a lot of just mixing and matching on that defensive line that could probably give this offensive line fits in different scenarios, especially on the interior with, how good those defensive tackles are for a young age. And Drinkwitz even mentioned that he's faced Venables before. He's faced defenses just like it, not even just last season. When Venables was the defensive coordinator at Clemson, there's familiarity there. When Drinkwitz was the offensive coordinator at North Carolina State. So there's a little bit of overlap and understanding of, how good this defense is and how multiple it can be at the same time. But I do recommend going and looking at some of those because I think Venables is a pretty good defensive genius, and I'm not the first person to say that, but I think that could be, something that could be a tough part for that offensive line front, and maybe it's a positive for Zollers as well. Like you said, Jack, he's seen something like this before. Maybe he can just keep taking steps forward as a starter if everything goes is planned for him, and he's going to be the starter again this week. Only one thing I want to point out on offense, there's some good, young offensive linemen on this Oklahoma front. Maybe a name that people know, Michael Fasusi, former Missouri target, is starting for Oklahoma. So there's some, good names there. But they also have a quarterback that's coming back from an injury as well. And the offense is, kind of lightened up at times. If you can really just slow Mateer down and, not allow the running game to get going at all, I think you're kind of in that spot where you try to keep this one a little bit closer than many probably expect.
I was pretty shocked by Mateer's numbers going into this game. I mean, this was a guy early season Heisman buzz. I knew he had gotten injured and he had not, I know against Texas in particular, he really struggled. But man, only 8 touchdowns, 7 picks, 63, rather pedestrian 63.9 completion percentage. Nothing about him has really jumped off the page. And this is an Oklahoma offense that, they were supposed to be better, but it was supposed to be because of the offense was supposed to be taking a big leap forward. I think everyone assumed their defense would be good. Venables, say what you will about him as a head coach. I mean, he's very clearly a very good defensive mind. Even last year, their defense was very good. It was just the offense was a complete mess. The offense is better. It's not a joke anymore like it was last year, and I think a lot of that has to do with not having Jackson Arnold at quarterback, who I think we can all agree is quite bad at this point. But still, I mean, Mateer, him and Arbuckle, that's the OC. They brought him in, both of them in from Washington State. It was a big deal. It hasn't really been this big explosive offense. They brought in Jaden Ott, who is a really big productive back from Cal. He has just been a non-factor for them. Only 21 carries this season. It's really been more Xavier Robinson and Torrey Blaylock at running back, and it's not been a very productive rushing attack either. So definitely a better offense, but still not a fantastic one. Now, because I said that, they'll pick Mizzou apart on Saturday, but on paper, definitely advantage Missouri when those two units, being Missouri's defense and Oklahoma's offense, are on the field.
I'll point out, too, that Oklahoma's defense was the real factor in that win against Alabama. I don't know if you guys looked at this part, but one interception was returned for a touchdown from Eli Bowen. He went 87 yards for it. Alabama also fumbled the ball 3 times and lost it twice. Ty Simpson, Ryan Williams, and running back Daniel Hill all fumbled the ball away. Only Daniel Hill's fumble was recovered. So, that's really what kept that game, in favor of the Sooners down the stretch. Only 6 points in the second half from Oklahoma, and Alabama had 7, and both of those were off field goals for the Sooners, but you win that one 23-21, primarily on the back of your defense. John Mateer in that game was 15 for 23. That's 6 yards per reception and 138 yards. So it's just one of those things where per attempt. Excuse me. So I just think this is just going to be really come down to you're talking about, Payton, with the rock fight on defense.
Yeah, I think you two both nailed it. The only other guy I'll point out, I like that Satania receiver. He's good. 5 touchdowns, 718 yards. He's kind of Mateer's main weapon through the air. But yeah, the disparity between Oklahoma's rushing attack in particular and their rush defense is pretty wild to see. They are the 6th worst team in the SEC in rushing. They only average 130 yards a game. Missouri's at 241, but they have the best rushing defense in the SEC and the 4th best in the country. They forced 8 fumbles. Teams are only getting just over 82 yards against them on the ground. So, if they can ride the back of this defense, which, is kind of what Auburn was able to do, even though Missouri ended up pulling out the win. They made Bo Prabula pretty uncomfortable rushing the passer. And if Missouri can't establish the run, they haven't really shown they've had the passing threat consistently enough to establish the run. I think, both things, you work hand in hand. You establish the run to create opportunities through the air, and I think vice versa. And that hasn't come off as well for Mizzou as they definitely would have hoped against the likes of, I think, Auburn and A&M. But if they can figure out a happy medium a little bit against this defense. I mean, certainly, the bar's been set. Arnold got sacked. What was it, 10 times? If
9, I believe.
9 times, 9 times. If the offensive line can at least hold up that well, they'll fare better than Auburn. But you're right, Kenny. If you can prevent turnovers and them getting those kind of explosives on defense, Missouri can hang around in this game, and I think the defense can absolutely cause some of those younger OU linemen and Mateer some problems. But we'll see.
I'm not too worried. I said, don't really want to get the offense going and slow Mateer down. I think Oklahoma's just slowed down offensively so much, especially when, Payton's talking about those overall numbers. With Xavier Robinson, only 34 yards in the last game. I mean, he was the leading rusher for Oklahoma, and that's all he's got. So I wouldn't be too worried about this Oklahoma offense. In fact, I'm probably going to come back to bite me by saying that this team's going to explode for 49 on this Mizzou defense. But I think Mizzou's shown so many strides that they can slow an offense that has weapons like this in Oklahoma.
All right. Score predictions. Who is winning and by how much? Whoever wants to go first.
Kenny, want to flash that on the screen there? I'd like to acknowledge that I've got 4 in a row right. Or 1 and 4 in a row, rather. And as you can see, I nailed it with that Mississippi State pick last week, 14-10. And I get the pick because you guys picked 3-point wins each. I'm gonna go ahead and pick Oklahoma again. I think Missouri will absolutely stay in this game, probably to the end, just because I think they'll be able to slow down Oklahoma a lot. Oklahoma's rushing offense has just been a pretty big struggle all year. Missouri has done a good job against quarterbacks that can hurt you with their legs this year, which how welcome is that to finally be able to say. But they've done a very good job this year. I think this is just a great defense. That said, I think Oklahoma's defense is just going to really, really swallow up Mizzou's offense in this game. I think it's going to be a real struggle to get Ahmad Hardy and Jamal Roberts going. And whether it's Perbula or Zollers, I just don't think I trust either of their arms to be able to kind of force Oklahoma to unload the box and give the O-line an easier time. So I'll take Oklahoma. I'll take them by a score of 17-3.
Stinker in Norman. Kenny.
He's Thanks.
Muted. I am muted. That was you guys aren't good at mouth reading. If you're watching with us on the YouTube, you can see all my italicized scores. And those are the ones that I've changed from my original ones that I put in at the beginning of the year. I'm just done doing that. I'm just going to stick with my 31-28 in favor of Oklahoma in this one. I'm just not going to touch it. Every time I've touched it, I've not won. You can look at it. I changed Alabama. I changed Vanderbilt. I changed Texas A&M. I changed Mississippi State. The only one I didn't change was Auburn. I still got that one wrong. I'm not going to touch it. I know that's not going to be the score. I know I'm not that close. I'm going to leave it. 31-28 Oklahoma.
Combined for either of those numbers.
Hey, I mean, you were shocked by the score last week. Maybe something else will happen.
I was kind of trolling last week a bit. I didn't do any research into Mississippi State.
You were going to take Mississippi State until you heard Jack and I talking about the game.
So. Yeah, I didn't really, and you both gave me bad information too. I picked it.
Well, we didn't tell you to trust us.
I assumed that Shapen just wasn't going to play, and then Shapen played anyways.
Well, we learned from the best Eli Drinkwitz when it comes to QB availability. So
no kidding.
You should know not to do that. 17-14 Oklahoma, please. I feel like I'm even being a little too high with that, but yeah, I don't think there will be
really that much faster to copy and paste all this, Kenny, instead of just typing it.
It turned it into a date. It turned it into.
I'll explain why that I have to do that. Is because whatever's in these cells right here isn't the same formatting as all the other ones that I have in here. I just never have changed the formatting on these. See, look, if I put 49, see, look, 40 to 90.
Oh, Payton, that drives him crazy.
Yeah, I don't like that.
His OCD is Is not a fan of that.
Let me be. You guys are gonna hate yourselves when it's 31-28 in favor of Oklahoma on Saturday.
I almost want
but
to.
that's going to be because Missouri lost in a really close game.
Kenny will be wrong. I just save it right there. But maybe your method will come to fruition. You have 2 games left to do it. I think would you go 35-14 Arkansas? I guess that one could still happen. But Oklahoma's not happening. There's a preview. We'll kick it to ourselves, talking a little hoop. Pavamu in South Dakota for Mizzou.
And now for something completely different.
All right, it's Payton and I. I don't know if this is going to be the intro. I guess we'll see what happens against South Dakota, but I probably will end up making the Oklahoma preview the intro. I haven't decided yet, so if I put this first, welcome back to the Unwritten Rule. Today is, Friday, November 21st. My brain can't think that far in advance, Payton, because we're recording this on Monday night because Missouri just got done with a 91-73 win over Prairie View A&M, which, if you can believe it or not, is Prairie View A&M's closest result of the season, win or lose. They said that on the broadcast. They beat 2 non-Division I teams by like 40 plus, and I think Oklahoma or Wichita State, I think beat them by 23, and Mizzou beat them by 19. So there you go.
18.
I can't do math. So there you go. This was a 33-point game at one point. They actually kind of a damning stat for Mizzou. The broadcaster said at the very end, I think Pavamu went on a 30-13 run after Missouri was up by like 35. Dennis was letting loose a little bit, wanting Mizzou to not let it take its foot off the gas, but nevertheless, a very, very, very comfortable win for Mizzou, Payton. And I have the superlatives again, because that seemed like it was a decent hit last time for Minnesota. But I actually want to start with something that you brought up with that game, that a theme that somewhat carried over. I think we were going to see a little bit more rotation diversity with a game like this versus Minnesota. That first of all, Missouri, much better first half than it's had in any of its games so far this year. And, that obviously enabled Dennis to kind of change his lineups a little bit more. But Payton, you made this point for Minnesota with kind of the thinner rotations, with some of the stars playing a lot more minutes. I wanted to ask you about that off the rip, because the only guys under 20 tonight were Javon Porter, Sean Phillips, Luke Northweather, the 3 bigs who, that kind of makes sense. You're rotating them in and out. And then T.O. Barrett played 15 minutes. And then Nicholas Randall, oh boy. I didn't make a category for him, but we can bring him up later. Had 4 minutes and fouled out of this game, which is maybe one of the funniest stat lines I've ever seen. But everyone else over 20 minutes, Payton, some pretty good balance in the lineup again tonight, I felt like. And Dennis not really pulling the plug, not taking back the reins. I mentioned he was kind of yelling at the guys when they let that bigger lead slip toward the end. And, you saw Anthony Robinson go back into the game after he had a weird calf something. We assume it was a cramp. He was using the massage gun on the sideline, then came back in. So that kind of came to my mind just from a lineup perspective. And it was interesting to me because of what you said after the Minnesota game. Obviously not quite parallel, but it's still less moving and shaking in terms of the depth and the amount of bench players used than we're used to Dennis seeing, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, not really any reason to do that. Again, no Trent Pierce, no Trent Burns, no Honor Boateng. It's getting to the point where these guys got to show up in the next couple, like the next week or so, or I think you probably just got to move on without them for the year. I don't think you can start bringing guys into the rotation and kind of figure out chemistry once you get to Notre Dame. So it kind of sucks, but I think we're at a point where I don't really think I want to see Trent Pierce, Honor Boateng, and Burns kind of try and work back into the rotation if they're not back within the next few days even. I really think we're kind of going to be pushing it otherwise. But no, I thought the rotations were fine. There weren't any real head scratchers at all. I mean, it was Javon Porter's best game as a Tiger by far, and he still didn't get to play over 20 minutes. So, no real gripes there.
Yeah. I'll get into the first superlative I had for this game on that note with Mr. Porter. I have some that carried over from the Minnesota game that I'm going to keep going for the season, but this is the most improved from last game award, which I also think I might maintain. I have 3 nominees for you, Payton. One of them is Javon Porter. The other one is Sean Phillips. And the third one, and I forgot to check the stats, so I'll read it live as I look at it, was rebounding for Missouri. They out-rebounded Pavamu 49-28 to make the case. Javon Porter, like you mentioned, 17 minutes, 12 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists. He had 2 fouls. And Sean Phillips, double-double, 12 points, 13 rebounds. He also had an assist, a couple turnovers in 19 minutes. What's the most improved for you from last game?
I guess it's kind of I don't know.
Sean Phillips is up for another award, by the way, if you want to fact.
Yeah, the rebounding was better towards the second half in Minnesota, but still wasn't great by the end. I guess you kind of got to give it to Sean Phillips because I thought he actually did have a good game. Only a couple turnovers for him. He did go 5 for 10, and I think 2 of those 5 misses were dunks, which is not good for someone his size. But I don't know. Porter, I think kind of also you could make an argument for just by default because he's been real rough this year. So it was good to see him kind of get in a little bit of a groove, do some nice things for them. He had 3 assists too, which I think is big for him. But no, I think it's kind of got to be Sean Phillips. A double-double in 19 minutes is certainly not something to sneeze at.
Yeah, I think with this, I mean, what do you think of this kind of big rotation with Mizzou? Because now you kind of flip back and forth, and that's how it is against some of these kind of blood donor games where it's like you go back and forth with opinions on guys because they play super well one game and then maybe bad in another one, but with the way they're kind of rotating, I thought one of the better stretches in the game was kind of toward the end of the first half. It was under the U4. They went on a 14-5 run, and the lineup was Ant, Jaden Stone, Sebastian Mack, Mitchell, and then they had Porter in first, and then they subbed Sean Phillips in. And yeah. I thought that was one of the better stretches kind of in the game that'll probably get buried a little bit because there was an 18-2 run right before that really blew the game open. But it seems like if they can find this balance of putting the right guys next to Mark Mitchell, assuming Mark Mitchell is going to continue to get these big minute games, which you'd expect him to, you hope that there's kind of enough versatility there in what Northweather, Phillips, and Porter bring in terms of like having kind of different games and play styles that makes for some intriguing lineup combinations to pair with Mark Mitchell. And I thought we saw kind of the best of all of that tonight, or at least the best out of Phillips and Porter when working next to Mitchell. And that's, I think, really promising going forward, especially if you are going to continue to be without those 3 guys that you mentioned at the top with the injuries.
Yeah, I think for most of the year, it's honestly been their worst lineup, their starting lineup. But I mean, tonight it was definitely not. I mean, you can just look at the plus minuses.
Right.
Porter and Phillips were plus 25 and 21. That's second and third on the team. And no surprise was a plus 27. But I mean, yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting because I don't have any real gripes with any of the lineups right now. I do think it's a lot of it has to do with what's the best fit behind Mitchell. I think a lot of it has to do with Mark Mitchell and Sean Phillips kind of figuring out how to play next to each other. And I think it kind of is going to come down to if Sean Phillips can figure out when he needs to get out of Mark Mitchell's way. It did work better tonight. I honestly, one lineup that stuck out to me, and honestly, you can make the argument for it being the 5 best players, was Ant, Mitchell, Stone, Cruz. I'm kind of forgetting who the 5th one was. But there was those 4 in particular, I think have been the kind of big nucleus for them. But it was in this one, Porter, Phillips, Mitchell worked as well as they ever have together.
Well, and it's fitting that you say those 4 have been the best nucleus because some of those guys can come off the bench and do come off the bench, and that's obviously what we saw last year with Caleb Grill and the role he found. And speaking of that, the Maybor Jacques Best Bench Performance Award. I try to do 3 nominees for everybody. So I feel like just one, and then there's 2. Thanks for showing up, guys, with this. Your nominees, Jacob Cruz, Jaden Stone, and I put Luke Northweather on there. He had 4 rebounds or 4 points and 6 assists, but I don't think you're going to pick him.
Yeah, well, it was definitely not Northweather. It was really just Stone and Cruz in contention for that. T.O. Barrett, I thought, was dreadful, and he didn't play much. And yeah, he was a team worst -9. It felt like it while he was out there. It was not a good night for him. Randall, obviously.
I have an award for him. I wrote something down. So
yeah. So but it's got to be Cruz. I mean, again, hitting 4 of his 5 3-point attempts. He's got to be shooting almost like 70% from deep this year. He's been very good. 7 of 10 from the floor. Hit only the free throw shooting was weird. They started really strong, and then like Phillips got to the line. He's not a great free throw shooter. Mark missed his one. T.O. Barrett just still doesn't look like he has a jumper, and it didn't look like his free throws were very good. But I mean, it was still Cruz got to the line a couple times, had that nasty putback dunk right at the end. I definitely think it was him. You can make the argument he potentially should start, but I'm not a big fan of messing with guys' rhythm when it's working out for them. I think Stone is another guy I've seen people wonder if he could start. I wouldn't mess with him or Cruz right now. Some guys just do better when they're sitting on the bench and they see the game, how the game's flowing, and then can come out and pick up from there. I wouldn't mess with that. I do wonder if at some point Porter gets pulled from the starting rotation or something like that. Maybe they mix it up a little like that. Like maybe Phillips comes out for a game or 2. Not that he played bad tonight, just kind of a mix and match thing I'm curious about. But no, I think Cruz is easily bench player of the evening, and I would not mess with his rhythm right now.
Excuse me, the Maybor Jacques bench player of the game.
Yeah, the Maybor Jacques.
The Maybor Jacques
all
award.
that.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. Again, you looked at guys like, Caleb Grill, even Marquez Warwick at times. I feel like why am I DeAndre Golston came off the bench a fair bit, right? Am I rewriting history there? I feel like he
definitely started at some point.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know why I'm not remembering that, but
you do have some.
But even someone who does start, and you have those guys that are starters who won't play that many minutes at the beginning. They'll come out, and you're right, like let the game come them. And again, Caleb Grill is the perfect example of it for Mizzou, of a bench guy that saw the game. He was a veteran. You could throw him in there and really give defenses a wrinkle. And we said, and Mizzou leaned on it, Jacob Cruz has to be even a third of what Caleb Grill was in order for this team to be, somewhat strong at making their threes. Now, I'm hoping you can continue to get some production out of especially the likes of Jaden Stone. He was 2 for 4 tonight. It's not amazing, but he made 2 threes. If Javon Porter can give you a couple, that helps, but you're not probably going to get the production of Caleb Grill. But Jacob Cruz is doing his best effort to have that happen, and he has been awesome. I do think that the dunk he had at the end is a real nice statement. I mean, Dennis Gates was really laying into them for kind of, rolling over at the end of that game, which, it happens. You have a big lead. You're not really worried. You're kind of just in cruise control, no pun intended. But I think him throwing that down and kind of making a statement there at the end of the game is a really good example of not only does he have this 3-point making ability, but you've mentioned it before, Payton. He hustles on every play and definitely puts in a lot of effort off the ball. And for some of his faults, that we've seen throughout the year plus of him being on the team, that's obviously a good way to offset it when you're putting in that kind of effort. So I thought he was great. I would agree with you that he gets the most improved. And then just one game.
Maybor Jacques bench player.
Sorry. Thank you. Well done. The My Jacques Best Bench Performance Award. And then just one game ball. Who gets it? I wrote Sean Phillips, Anthony Robinson. I also nominated Jacob Cruz for this one.
Yeah, I'd give it to Cruz, honestly. Ant was fine, particularly like that he only picked up 1 foul tonight, had 5 assists. So good game for him, but didn't have his best shooting night. Again, not really worried about that at all. But got hurt. He did come out of the game briefly and still thought he played well. But I don't think he was the best player, even though he did have the best plus minus. I think it was Cruz. Phillips, I think, still at times had a few. He had more like kind of questionable moments than Cruz did, I thought. So I'll give it to Cruz, but Phillips did have a good game as well.
I think I'm with you. I double. You can't overstate the significance of that. I don't care who it's against. I think that at the college level is a hard thing to do. But you mentioned I think you hit the nail on the head with like Sean Phillips kind of learning to play with Mark Mitchell and getting out of his way at times. That I feel like that applies to some of the other players as well. There was one where they lost a rebound because him and Cruz both went up for it, and it ended up going out of bounds. And I just feel like Sean Phillips is just getting. There was another time where Jarrett Sutton mentioned it, which again, shout out Jarrett Sutton. He does a great job. He needs to be on more games. I actually like his analysis. I think he knows what he's talking about, which makes sense. But he pointed out one time too where Cruz like he went up and there was a dumb foul that he committed, and he mentioned that there was one where he kind of mishandled a pass or kept the ball too low. That's what Jarrett Sutton was pointing out, was like he gets in the right spot. Sometimes he keeps the ball too low. It's just like little things that, especially as a big whose skill set is very specific and kind of hyper focused in one area, you have to just perfect those things because you're not as effective as a scorer, especially on different levels like some other players are, even like a Javon Porter. So I kind of think it's just little things with him, but certainly when he is in his bag, gobbling up rebounds, getting putbacks, finishing well in the paint, getting to the free throw line if he can make a couple, which I think he was 2 for 4. It looks like that says from the line. So like if when he is in his bag, he's certainly a big help to this team. It's just, I think, little things that hopefully for a veteran player like him, he'll continue to figure out. But that said, he had a great game today. I will give it also to Jacob Cruz. By the way, for the Jacob Cruz 103s in a season tally that Dennis Gates set out for him, he's averaging 2.6 makes a game. He has 13 through their first 5 games. Missouri has 26 games left. That would give him 67.6 3-pointers made, which would still be pretty incredible, but a little bit off of Dennis's goal.
How many did you say?
67.6.
Yeah, I thought you said that.
Yeah. I actually wanted to see who do you think made the most I have to see
last year.
How do I do totals? Hold on. I have per game, but I wanted to do totals because I'm actually intrigued.
Are you talking about
last year?
Caleb Grill.
Might have been. I still only have 3-pointers made per game, which was Brett Decker Jr. from Liberty.
Oh, I thought you were talking about nationally.
Yeah.
Oh, how many a game did he make?
That guy made 6 a game, but I'm trying to.
How many total?
Well, I guess you multiply it by how many games.
How many games did he play?
I didn't want to do math. I thought someone would just show me. Oh wait, this
Are you on ESPN? Click on the guy's profile.
It's got. Oh, hold on. Last year it was Abdi Bashir Jr. from Kansas State. 3.8 a game.
Oh yeah, he was.
Games.
I don't know if he's there anymore.
He made 125 threes last year. He was the most per game. He is still there actually.
Oh. If you have a guy hitting 125 threes a game, how do you lose? Or not a game, sorry. 125 threes in a season. How do you ever lose? I don't understand that.
I think I hit it 127. He was 127 for 332 last year. That was at
That's
Monmouth.
so many.
Not Kansas State. He's at Kansas State now. That was at
Oh, I thought Kansas State had a pretty big 3-point shooter leave. Maybe I'm wrong.
Well, they now have the leading 3-point shooter in the country. So that's kind of the level. Caleb Grill per game. I don't see him. He wasn't in the top 50. That's kind of wild to me. Grill. Oh, it was 79th, 2.7, but that's also tied with like 15 people. So there you go. I had one fun award to give out from this game because I want to try and be creative with these, but it doesn't help in 20-point wins. It's the Random Cameo Award. Here are your nominees for the Random Cameo Award. Tim Fuller. They were making some jokes about him being the massage gun handler. The referee who went over and explained Anthony Robinson's injury, which I actually didn't know this, Payton, that they changed the rule with stopping play for injuries. And I'm glad I found that out now instead of in like a 3-point game, where it's like a important sequence and they blow the whistle and it's like, wait, I thought they kept playing through injuries, but I guess they don't. Truman the Tiger is also a nominee, had a nice appearance on the broadcast. And Ahmad Hardy, because I don't know if this happened to you, but during my SEC broadcast.
And that was going to be my answer if
Okay.
you didn't say it. The Ahmad Hardy graphic when they just didn't play any ads on SEC Plus.
There was no commercials on SEC Network Plus, and instead it was like a graphic for 2 minutes of Ahmad Hardy and his stat line against Mississippi State. I think that's the winner.
I agree. The runner-up will be Truman on the broadcast desk.
Okay, there you go. All right, that's all I have. Good win for Mizzou. A good performance. Glad Ant's all right. I texted Payton. I'm getting freaked out with the way that these players, especially these young guys, are getting injuries now. I think it's so bad with the way youth basketball is, and these guys don't have legs anymore. And so anytime anyone gets a leg injury, it just scares me. So I'm glad Anthony Robinson was fine. We will kick it to ourselves, probably recapping the South Dakota game, I assume. And that will be me and Kenny. So stay tuned.
And now for something completely different.
All right, as promised, part 2 of 2 of 2 games for Mizzou men's basketball this week. It was me and Payton on Monday. Well, okay. Kenny, if we're going to keep doing this throughout the season, I got to orient my brain because everyone just watches this on one day. But of course, Payton and I talked post Pavamu, which now feels like an eternity ago in my brain because Kenny and I are now talking on Thursday evening. You're all watching this Friday because Mizzou beat South Dakota 102-68 was the final score, Kenny. An absolute drubbing again for Mizzou. I have some superlatives that the people will have just heard. I gave out to Pavamu, but or for the Pavamu game, but I have some similar ones to give out for South Dakota. But I figured, Kenny, we can start with kind of the broader sort of 2-game things because that can avoid us talking about the same subjects because obviously a lot of guys who were good against Prairie View A&M were also good against South Dakota. But the 2 nominees for the award, I'm calling this the Terrific 2-Game Trend Award, the TTGTA. I couldn't think of a better name. I'm trying to get some more of these to stick. I so far have, I think, 3 consistent ones, and then a couple that I'll try and rotate for every game. But the 2 nominees I have for you, both just go for Missouri's. It's just Missouri as a team. The 3-point shooting or the rebounding. And now I can let you pick, or I can give you stats if you would like to build a case for either one. Or you can say right now, which one you think which one you'd give this to.
Are these 2 different awards?
No. It's which trend has been your favorite or better over the last 2 games, the rebounding or the 3-point shooting?
That's a tough one. That is really tough.
It's an award, man.
The team shot so well from 3. Shot well altogether, 64.3 from the field, nearly 55% from 3 and 80 from the free throw line. Not really going to expect that the whole season. You'll regress to the mean at some. Huh?
60, 50, 40, 90 is the standard for a really, really good player. So that being almost that as a team is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's incredible. 24 from 30 from the line. I think you take that all day for a team that's seen its ups and downs from free throws. I'm just going to go rebounding on this one because I feel like maybe, Jack, you want to talk about three-pointing, but I thought this was overall just a good rebounding game again. We talked about it last week, or I guess on Monday, or no, last week, yeah, about how they were doing better in the second half with rebounding and really responding there. Jonte Porter, man, 12 rebounds, 19 points, 9 from 9. Or sorry, Javon Porter, my bad. Yes, so Javon Porter having a double-double, 9 for 9 from the field, 1 for 1 from the free throw line, 12 rebounds, 8 of those on the defensive side, 19 points. What a good performance in his hometown.
Yeah, obviously Javon will be in the nominations for another award later on. But yeah, I'm probably with you. I mean, they're both great. They out rebounded Prairie View A&M 49-28 on Monday, 38-24 tonight or Thursday night against South Dakota. And there's been some weird rebounding hiccups with this team where they gave up a bunch of O boards to Minnesota. That was the kind of big hiccup for them in that first half in that game, I felt. So I might agree with you, just in the sense that I think from the Minnesota game that has that's really improved. I mean, obviously, it's mid-major competition. It's not like, obviously it's not even as good as Minnesota, even though Minnesota's not the most quality Big Ten program. But yeah, I think this team has been awesome. I'll just give it. I'll go into that right now. The just one game ball. Who gets it? Kenny, I picked 3 for you. Javon Porter is one of them. Mark Mitchell is another one, and then I put Anthony Robinson actually as the third nominee. So who gets the game ball for you from South Dakota?
Yeah, it's hard. You go with the leading scorer, Mark Mitchell, and of course the offense really runs through him. 7 from 12 from the field. He ate up most of those free throws with 11 attempts and, had 5 rebounds himself. Javon looked perfect, 19 points, perfect from the field, 12 boards. But I do like just the distribution of Anthony Robinson's line. I think maybe this goes to maybe like a little bit more of an unheralded award too, Jack, in my opinion. But 11 points, 50% from the field, sank his only three-pointer and made all of his free throws. But he had 5 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. I think all around, I mean, maybe I'm in the minority, but I really liked Anthony Robinson's performance in this one.
Yeah,
and he did look a little banged up. I don't know if you saw that at the end too, where Dennis pulled him.
I didn't.
He was kind of looking down, and even the broadcast mentioned it, where he kept looking from ball to Anthony Robinson, and noticed that he was kind of a little lame walking down the court, and it pulled him for Teo Barrett.
Interesting. Well, I mean, he kind of had the calf thing against Prairie View, and then he went back out there. I guess we'll have to keep an eye on what report maybe comes out before the next game. I'm glad you mentioned him. I put Anthony Robinson in here. One, because I don't know, maybe at least for these bye games, you might need to just start putting Mark Mitchell in a different category because the guy's just a monster. I mean, they were triple teaming him in the paint at times, and he's going up and dunking it, and I can't wait to see him just try and do this stuff against really quality, SEC opposition because it's hard to put in your brain, oh, is Mark Mitchell this dominant or is this just, well, I say that he had an outstanding season last year too. So we know Mark Mitchell can be this dominant, but you want to see it again against, the likes of SEC bigs and all that stuff. But I'm glad you mentioned Anthony Robinson. I mean, he's plus 38 in 32 minutes. I mean, that is just outstanding. That's what you need your point guard to be. He had 6 assists. That's the most on the team. Made his 1 3-point field goal attempt, 1 steal, 1 block. Did have the 3 turnovers, but it's as close to as flawless of a game you can get from him. I think you have to accept sometimes with Ant, you're going to have weird gamble stuff with the steals that are going to either put him in foul trouble or he'll do a couple of weird things with the ball that'll lead to a couple of turnovers. But, if you'll take that all day long if he's offsetting it with 6 assists and just really productive point guard play. He absolutely knows how to run this offense. I think it's clear Dennis Gates trusts him. And he showed it tonight as much as it is a South Dakota team, but as opposed to an SC team. But I might go with you. We might just zag a little bit, give it to Anthony Robinson.
Yeah, I think it's a fair, one to go. When you talk about the plus minus too, that 38 leads the team. He played the most minutes at 32, just all around. And this was a tighter rotation again. I think that's something that's really kind of become a trend, and maybe we can pivot to there, Jack, is that when you lose Luke Northweather, a couple minutes into the game, and we got hit in the face, and he comes back, I think, with 8 minutes to go in the first half. You had to turn to Nicholas Randall as your next biggest guy. We also see Mark Mitchell kind of step down into that rotation as well, and kind of become your big guy as one of the more taller guys on the court. And being without Sean Phillips again in this one due to an illness, you have to see some guys respond. And I think, this rotation has gotten tighter for a team that's relied on so much depth and it's shown it. I mean, it's just what it is. I mean, Dennis Gates has always had deep rotations. I think Mizzou's responding really well. Of course, against non-high major teams, but I think this is the perfect time to do that. And you're really seeing guys step up in different capacities. I said this early on into the season, is that I think it's an exciting thing when you see guys like Javon Porter have a perfect game, 9 points or 19 points, 9 field goals made, 9 field goals attempted. And you want to see these guys kind of contribute in different facets and not have these early hiccups, because you could lose another guy instantly. You don't have Trent Pierce still. You don't have Trent Burns as another big man down low. And without Sean Phillips today, I think the team really responded just with, kind of moving parts until Luke Northweather came back.
Yeah. Porter, I want to see where his level ultimately is, because it's felt like such a roller coaster with him, where he's been so good these last 2 games. And kind of a non-factor in the previous couple before that. So I kind of want to see how it settles down. You talk about the big depth in the rotation and operating without, a guy in Sean Phillips. I just watched Kansas playing the other night. They have Flory Badunga, who is a dominant big man, maybe one of the most dominant big men they're going to face. So that rotation is going to be tested in a game like that. And so, yeah, to see Mizzou kind of adjust is good. This is a new award I test drove with Payton Kenny that I wanted to see how if I can keep it as a consistent one. It's the most improved from last game award. And I can, maybe flip it back and forth. If they have a stinker, you can turn it into least improved or most regressed or something. I'll come up with a better name, but I have 2 team things and then 1 individual nominee for this one. If you would like to hear them. The 2 team ones is Mizzou's defense and Mizzou's second half dominance, and I can provide the statistics behind both of those. The third one is an individual. It's Sebastian Mack. Sebastian Mack against Prairie View A&M. He finished the game with 2 points. He was 1 for 7 from the field, 3 rebounds, 2 turnovers, and a steal in 25 minutes. South Dakota, 21 minutes, 13 points, 6 of 11 from the field. I need a rebound and a steal. The other 2, Mizzou in the second half at one point, I think, was getting outscored 30-13 against Prairie View. It was very, Dennis was very openly kind of yelling at his guys. They actually only ended up losing the second half by 4 points. But tonight, not the case. They outscored South Dakota 49-26 in that one.
I kind of want to give it to Sebastian Mack.
Yeah.
Is that okay to say? It takes me back to the start of the Minnesota game. I think, a lot of people noticed that he was probably the primary scorer just right off the bat. I think there was a lot of good movement there, and things kind of got off the rails at certain parts. And, you see that fiery and very aggressive edge from Sebastian Mack as well in some of these contests. But in that game against Minnesota, you win 83-60. You get 14 points from Sebastian Mack in that one, 5 for 8 from the field. Just 1 assist and 1 block and 1 steal there. But this looks a little bit like a roller coaster these last 3 games. But I think if you're kind of, settling in a little bit better and going 6 for 11 from the field, I think that's a good day for Sebastian Mack. In the plus minus category, not the best with 10 in the 21 minutes he played. But I think shooting wise, I think it was a very good improvement from that Prairie View game when you miss 6 shots on 7 attempts.
Yeah, it's weird. Missouri has been one of the most efficient. You talked about the shooting percentages, one of the most efficient teams in the country in that aspect. And Mac has been a little bit of like a weird case with that, because he took 11 shots to get to 13 points tonight. He had 2 on 7 attempts in the game before. And weirdly, he hasn't been the most efficient really this year. I mean, his shot volume is kind of wild, Kenny. I know he plays a lot, but 11 field goal attempts, 7 field goal attempts. He had 8 against Minnesota, 13 the game before, 9 the game before, and 11 against Howard. So, it seems like he kind of needs a high volume, but if Missouri can be super efficient around him, there's certainly room for that. And yeah, I don't think you can ever not have room for the kind of fireball that he is.
This is kind of funny. It came up in a conversation today. I was talking with Jamie Shaw at Rivals, and he was asking me, he was like, what is Sebastian Mack's position? And I was like, well, it's positionless basketball at Mizzou, but he's at second guard. Well, it comes before that word in guard though, for the guy that's off the ball, Jack.
Shooting.
And that's exactly what he's been doing. Maybe not the most efficient way, but I think you're kind of trending in the right direction. This is a guy who didn't play as much last year at UCLA in his second year after being a starter and more of a first guy on the floor contributor as a freshman. So something that you just kind of iron out at this time of the season as well.
Yeah, Mark Mitchell, I'd be comparing it. 12 field goal attempts, 5, 11, 13, 14, and 6. Pretty kind of similar between those two. He took more shots than Mark Mitchell did against Howard, Sebastian Mack. So I don't know. That's something we'll keep watching. But I like the way Mizzou seemed to take that Dennis message to heart too, in terms of not shutting off in the second half. I think that's just an important, if nothing else, hey, these guys are listening to their coach and he's saying the right stuff and getting through to them. So because we know, I mean, you see it. I feel like you saw it a lot in the NBA last year. These like 20-point leads that were just evaporating. But it can certainly happen in college too. It's a game of runs, Kenny. It's a game of runs. You ever heard that one before? That's an original.
I was saying that to myself today. I went to watch Scotty Atkinson at Webster Groves, and it was a scrimmage. Like all these were just like one-quarter scrimmages, and I was even saying it to myself. It's just a game of runs. I mean, kind of they were taken over at times, and they were being taken over by their opponent, and they were playing Principia, which is a national team as well. And there's some good players there. So I kept saying that to myself the whole time.
This is my last award, and it is another consistent one. It's the Maybor Majok Best Bench Performance Award. I've got 3 nominees. They're Jacob Cruz, Jaden Stone, and our guy Anor Boateng, who finally played. He came in, had 3 points, had a nasty block. Do you build the case? But these other two, Stone and Cruz, had good games again off the bench for Mizzou.
I know Mizzou was expecting a blowout in this one, and Gates talked about limited minutes, but Boateng still played 14.
14?
That was more,
minimal.
14.
Minimal was the word used.
Minimal, yeah, 14 minutes more than Teo Barrett in this one. Teo Barrett was the only one in minus on the plus minus. I think you give it to Jacob Cruz again. Did we give it to Jacob Cruz last time? Did you guys do that on Monday?
Yeah, we did. We gave it to him for Pavamu. I don't know how you can't. I mean, it's 15 points, 3 of 5 shooting, 21 minutes. He had 2 steals too, and a couple of rebounds. Perfect. I mean, that's exactly what you want. He has been. I don't want to use this man's name, too loosely, but there's a little Caleb Grill light.
I was going to say it. I'm glad you said it.
It's not Caleb Grill. I don't think it's ever going to be Caleb Grill. I don't think he's going to make the volume of threes. Although me and Payton did calculate it. He's on pace for, I think 67 threes on the season, or at least he was after Prairie View. There's a little bit to it, and he hustles, and he's making shots, and he's doing it in an efficient clip. 3 threes a game from Jacob Cruz is perfect. Okay, give me that all day long for the rest of the season. I think it's him.
I was going to say to you, Jack, who was another guy in Dennis Gates' system that's a 3-point shooter that greatly improved in his second year with the Tigers.
Yeah,
we shouldn't compare them. I mean, there's still like a lot, a big separation there. Yeah, and then it's coming back from an injury. Jacob Cruz just came back from, I guess, playing more.
Not being very good.
Not being very good, yeah. But I do like that. It's funny that both came to us.
Yeah, I think it's got to be him. Stone has been awesome. I think in terms of like he was the big wild card swing factor. 12.6 rebounds. Also perfect. It's so hard. I mean, I'm gonna enjoy and gush just because these are nice stat lines, and it's comfortably refreshing and good performances. But it's all going to be measured when Illinois and Kansas, those games happen, and those two teams look really good. Kansas played Duke damn close the other night without Darren Peterson, and they're going to have Darren Peterson for Missouri. So my last fun award, I did this with Payton too. I wasn't gonna do this for this one, but I actually managed to get 2 nominees. It's the Random Cameo Award. Me and Payton for Pavamu, as you all listeners just heard, Kenny gave it to Ahmad Hardy because when they went to commercial for one of the breaks, they didn't have any commercials. It was just Ahmad Hardy's stat line against Mississippi State on the screen for like 3 minutes, and then the game came back.
I did see that. Yeah.
I have 2 nominees for you. One of them is Matas Buzelis, and the other one is Kevin Purrier, who is the analyst for this game.
I saw you text about the former. Let's give it to Kevin Purrier. How about that? I do like when it's a different analyst with someone on there that maybe isn't as frequent on these non-con ones. So let's do that. Let's give it to Kevin.
We'll give it to Kevin Purrier. I guess Matas Buzelis' younger brother is on South Dakota. That was why he was mentioned.
Yeah, I did see you say that. Did he play?
Yes, Vince Buzelis. He played 14 minutes. He had 5 points.
Yeah, 3 personal fouls. Leader on the team.
Scrappy.
-8. Oof.
Yeah. So they showed a Matas graphic, and I was like, oh, random that's the definition of a random cameo. So maybe that one will stay depending on the game. All right, there you go. There's 20 more minutes about another non-con game in a super long pod that it's come together beautifully over this past week.
Let's do an hour and a half for SEC games.
I think I love it. Yeah. What? Oh Lord, we gotta. They won't get too much longer than these, but we'll find more things to riff off of and dive into in bigger games. Missouri next plays. I don't know who, Kenny, because I forgot to look, and I'm going to do it right now, unless you know off
Cleveland
the top of your
State.
head.
No,
It is
yes,
South Carolina State.
and then Cleveland State.
5 days, so you get a break from us doing these breakdowns until next Friday's show, because they play November 25th, which is Tuesday. So there you go. South Carolina State, then Cleveland State, and then it's go time. They got Notre Dame and Kansas, then Alabama State and Bethune, and then it's Illinois, and then we're in SEC play already. So there you go. Big time stuff. That has been Kenny. I have been Jack. We will come back with the 3 of us, along with Payton, for quick hits to finish the show. And my IRL version of myself is going to go edit this insanely skeleton podcast. So wish me luck. Okay, quick hits time. We'll finish up the show. We have jerseys of the week to start. Kenny, breaking news?
Not really. This came out 4 hours ago, but
it also will come out like 2 days from now. So
yeah,
this show. I mean,
some people don't have Twitter or follow this, so breaking news to them. JD McGregory, latest commit for Missouri here on Wednesday.
Where's he committing to?
Well, he flipped his commitment from Louisville to Missouri.
That's the closest sound I could make to a flip noise.
22nd commitment for Missouri, 6th flip, 12th pledge since the start of the fall. So continuing that kind of run for Missouri. He's the 10th commitment for Missouri for a player who was previously pledged to another school. So that includes 4 other guys who decommitted before committing to Missouri. So it's just kind of a group of guys there that have looked to Missouri as, the actual place that they want to go. McGregory's been on the radar for a long time. Looked like he was going to commit to the Tigers over the summer after his official visit in June. Ended up canceling his trip to Kansas. Made it to Louisville. And then on July 7th, he committed to the Louisville Cardinals. Missouri stuck around for a while, got him back for the Alabama game this past fall, or I guess in October. I guess we're still in the fall. In October. And that was one of his visits back for unofficial, and everything kept trending in the direction for Missouri. So Tigers have a 4th safety now, pairing that with Carter Stewart, Tony Forney Jr., and Brody Jones. So Jacob Yoro, who only got one, who didn't even get a safety in the last class because CJ Bass just committed to Missouri before Yoro was named the official safeties coach. Now is 4 in the 2026 class, his 2nd full season as the safeties coach for Missouri.
Where in the rankings does Mizzou stand now, Kenny?
22nd.
22nd. Very good considering the summer they had, I think.
Mm-hmm.
That also probably means they're like 12th in the SEC, but
Yeah, you come out of the fall with only 10 commits and the world was falling apart and everyone was saying, oh, it's a transfer portal team, but there's still high schoolers out there. And we've had that conversation where you still need, some elite talent that you can try to develop within. And one of those guys was Johnny Jones, who's the top Mizzou player in the rival industry rankings, 135th nationally. So that includes, 247 Sports and ESPN rankings mushed together. So, yeah, I think you're in a good spot for Missouri, and there's still some other guys they're monitoring, but this is a pretty good class so far for the Tigers.
Who else should we look out for, Kenny? Anyone else?
Defensive line is one that you got Taj Overton already, who's third in the industry ranking for you. You probably want a second guy in there. They've talked about Anthony Kennedy Jr., who's likely not going to sign with Miami now. He was the first commit for Missouri. Shout out when he first committed to the Tigers in December of 2024. I was in Hawaii, so I didn't even get to write about that. But that's when they're kind of monitoring, see if they can get him on back on campus, maybe midweek, because they can't do any weekend visits with 2 road games left on the season. Danny Beal, close friend of Anthony Kennedy Jr., another name to know. Rocco Marriott is a quarterback who visited recently. Missouri's been interested in a second quarterback for obvious reasons on how this season went and just the future of that position and how you're really going to need depth moving forward and options and guys to develop behind the starters. Don't really know where that one's going to go at this time. UCF is another team to watch there for the James Madison commit, but good for Rocco too. I mean, he was a guy last year that didn't have a ranking at all. Now he's a 4-star ranked inside the Rivals 300. So a lot of things paid off for him.
Tough loss on Saturday for old Jaden McGregory. He lost in the semifinals in Iowa to so he goes to Iowa Valley. They lost their arch rival, Dowling Catholic, 14-10. So his season came to an end.
Dowling Catholic had a visitor at Mizzou this past weekend, Carter Barrett, who I think is close friends with Jaden McGregor, is friends with him.
They probably have a lot of visitors. They are very, very good in the Iowa 5A scene. There you go. That's more information than you needed. Payton, your jersey.
My jersey of the week. Let's give it to just anyone on the team. Let's give it to Shannon Dowell again. How about that? Missouri Tigers women's basketball won another game, 81-50 over Southern Illinois. I think that's far and away the easiest one they've had. I didn't pull up the stats, but it was a good bounce back off of Kansas. So,
yeah, I'm glad you gave it to Shannon Dowell. She had 30 points in this game, Peyton. There was no one else.
I was busy. I didn't see. I just saw that they.
It took me 2 seconds to look that up. By the way, I'll run through the box score if you want. Grace Slaughter had 10 points. Jordana Reisma had 12. So Reisma, Layla Smith, 11 points off the bench.
It might.
Grace Slaughter 10 points. Oh, you said that. Sorry.
Might be missing.
I also, for the record, pulled up the box score in about 2 seconds, Peyton. But that's neither here nor there. Yes, congrats to Mizzou women's basketball. Good bounce back win. All right, my jersey of the week. You're gonna have to stick with me here. Yeah, you might be confused why there's a very grainy black and white photo on the screen, dear viewers. Okay, my jersey of the week is going to Jenny Hobbs. You might not know who that is, and I wouldn't blame you. So this is a bit of a crossover with my work life and my pod life. Jenny Hobbs, as seen here, is the head coach of
which one is she?
She is the one blocking the ball from behind with the MP jersey on, number 33. She's number 33 in the photograph. If you are watching on the YouTube,
are you sure that maybe she's not dunking and the one in the front's trying to block?
It's a block. I seen the caption of the photo. Okay. So Jenny Hobbs is the coach of the Mid-Prairie Golden Hawks girls basketball team. If you don't know what team that is, I don't blame you. I cover them for my job. I cover a bunch of high schools across Southeast Iowa as a sports writer, and Mid-Prairie is one of the schools. Jenny Hobbs is their coach. She went to Iowa State and played there in the 90s. And I spoke with her recently at a media availability, and I'm making her my jersey of the week because she told me at such event that when I told her I went to Mizzou, She said the only team when she was in college that she never hit a 3-pointer at, the only place was the Hearn Center in Mizzou. So I thought that was a fun fact. So I'm sharing that. Yes, she played against Mizzou for Iowa State when they were in the Big 8 together in the 90s. Kind of a cool story too. She was a walk-on, kind of earned her way to a scholarship and stuff. So it was a fun connection I made the other day at my real job. So there you go.
That is a fun story. You know what they say about the Hearn Center? It is an eyesore on the outside and tough to play.
Tough place to play.
Yeah,
tough place to play.
It's
so yeah, she
ugly
never
on the outside and uglier for visiting teams on the end.
She said that was the only place she never hit a 3. And then I found this kind of fun photo from this is back when she played for the high school she now coaches. So there you go. Fun storylines all around. They actually are pretty good, Mid Prairie. They're supposed to have a fun year. Very fast paced team. They're gonna run. She said she wants to have 4 double-digit scores a game. So
that's the mark of a cool ass coach.
They want a lot of offense.
More like good Prairie.
Yeah, it is. I do feel bad for them sometimes being Mid Prairie. I don't know if other teams play into that, but maybe I have to do some more digging to find that out. So there you go.
I like No Cap, and he's the main bird.
Your main birds of the week, Kenny.
My main bird of the week goes to Ahmad Hardy. This was Payton's, and he gave it to me. He's the SEC co-offensive player of the week. And I want to add, I say that because do you guys know who the other co-offensive player of the week was?
It's probably Kawan Lacey, wasn't it?
It was Kawan Lacey. I found that pretty funny. He went on the Pat McAfee show this past week too. And they were talking about he was just in the background mainly for when Lane Kiffin went on. And when Lane came off, when he was off the show, they were talking to, like Pat was talking, like, oh, they've been recruiting Kawan like since, early high school, middle school days. He just doesn't even mention that there was a year where Kawan Lacey wasn't at Ole Miss, and I thought that was pretty funny. But Ahmad Hardy, 300 yards, 25 carries, 3 touchdowns against Mississippi State. And the Mississippi State reporters after this game, I went to that press conference, asked one of the Mississippi State defensive players about this performance and said, this guy's probably going to win SEC Offensive Player of the Week. I mean, how do you guys respond from that? Going into a bye week, how do you kind of sit with that this guy tore up your defense and got an award out of it? And they said, the player said, Nick Mitchell, linebacker, said something to the extent of, it sucks, it's terrible. We have to figure out to stop the run because we know that Ole Miss can run the ball too. And then Kawan Lacey also got co-SEC Player of the Week.
Tough one if you're Mississippi State because you're just kind of getting beat down by both of these players. And one of them is from your backyard. Also, bigger news probably for Ahmad Hardy is named a Doak Walker Award semifinalist. So I believe it's semifinalist now.
Finalist.
Yeah,
he was just a finalist?
Finalist now.
There's 10 finalists.
I saw both. People like the teams for the other players were like putting both. Like some were saying finalist and some were saying semifinalist. So I think Kenny's right.
He's still in the running basically for the Doak.
The running for the best.
Which I mean, he should be. He's the leading rusher in college football, and I think
he should probably win it. I don't know if he will, but.
Do you think this will be like a Drew Smith situation when he finishes with better statistics than
because that wasn't a situation.
Well, I think there's a chance
there was no situation
could finish above him too, but I
mean, Mutant Jack, he's not allowed to talk about this.
Yeah, this is going to be Drew Smith all over again, where there's like clearly a correct winner here, and it's probably not going to win because of the rest of the team.
Okay, he is a semifinalist. I saw finalists in a bunch of tweets.
That's what I saw too. I saw like half and half, and I was like, which one is it? But whatever.
Yeah.
That's one thing that where if you're the beat writer, it drives you crazy because you don't know which one you're supposed to write, which one's correct.
Yeah. You're welcome for that, Bird. Also, Bird Connection, he was a ULM Warhawk.
Thank you.
Okay, Payton, you're on the clock again then, Bird.
My main bird of the week is going to be kind of like Sean East, a lefty. It's going to be Jason Crow Jr. If you're looking for a bird connection, his last name is Crow with an E. So if you take the first 4 letters of his last name, that's Crow, like the bird that goes, So yeah, he scored 43 points. He had a triple-double. He broke the CIF Southern Section all-time scoring record, and he is 285 points away from breaking the California all-time scoring record. And two of the co-hosts on this show don't think this guy's going to start next year. So go figure that out. This is clearly the best recruit Missouri has had in quite some time, and I am very excited.
I don't think we've ever said that.
Yeah.
Nope, you both said it.
Sounds like one co-host likes to slander and make up lies.
Nope, you
Pretty
both
sure
said it.
Payton said that he scored 43 points on like 35, 25, and 70.
I'll link these texts about it. Kenny made up shooting splits to make
That
me
was so
feel
funny.
bad. And I went and I knew it was wrong, and I went and searched it. He shot like around 65% and from the field and 45% from deep. He made, I think, 4 or 5 free throws.
I think he made all of his free throws.
I don't remember. I'd have to go back and look at that, but
Love
he
that.
shot better than what you said he did. Now Kenny's going to look it up. Yeah,
It's a good
two of the
bit.
co-hosts on this show are not Crow believers. I'm a Crow believer.
We never
I-
said we weren't Crow
I never
believers.
said
I just like ruffling your crow feathers.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, you two, the
Give him a crow,
apology.
Kenny. Can you do your Louisville? Can you do, or your
Wow.
can you do your Iowa State?
Yeah, we mentioned Iowa State actually. So there you go.
All right, 43 points, 65% from the field, 45 from the 3-point line, and 80% from the free throw line.
So exactly what I said it was.
No.
Say yes. I want to hear you say it.
No, it's not exactly how you said it was.
These two are Jason Crow non-believers. I am a Jason Crow.
Never said that.
Never said that.
Never said that.
No, they didn't say that. They do. I think you both did say that you don't expect him to start next year.
Never
I
said
think there's a world where he doesn't start game 1.
that. I agree.
I do agree with you on that, but let me just say, I think that would be complete, utter nonsense if he doesn't start.
It wouldn't be because of talent. It would
Utter
just be
crow nonsense.
It would just be something that I don't know that Gates does. It's just something that
Yeah,
it just
I
comes
hear
into
ya.
my mind.
I hear you on that. Yeah, I
Jason
can
Crow
agree with you.
Jr. will have minimal minutes. Shout out Anar Boateng. I don't know if we talked
That
about
is
that.
right.
but
Well, you'll have to bring that up on South
Yeah.
Dakota. Hopefully he plays.
yeah, Anar Boateng, minimal minutes.
Yeah, Jason
all
Crow
right.
Jr. is good. Moving on.
My main bird of the week is going to a man named Troy Parrott. Bird connection. Duh. I'm bringing soccer into this
What is
one.
it?
His name's Parrot. Kenny, don't give me that look.
Parrots
it's a
don't
bird.
spell it like that.
Oh my god. I don't care. I don't care. I thought this was funny because it's the same.
If you take the first 6 letters of this guy's last name, then you get the bird.
just move on. What'd you learn? I don't care anymore.
Would you give
I
your
don't
Troy
care.
Parrot stuff? Okay, I guess we're moving on.
No, we can move on. It's fine. The show's too long.
What's your Troy Parrott thing? What do you do?
He scored 2 hat tricks for Ireland, and they're going to the World Cup playoffs. They're not there yet. They have to win a couple more matches, but it was a big deal. Them and Scotland qualified. It's
I was gonna ask
huge
about
for
Scotland.
all of
Which
the.
one is he?
I believe he is
The guy
one
without
with
the
his
shirt, I'd assume.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scotland made it for the first time in a long time, right?
Yes. So Scotland actually qualified. Ireland's in the playoffs, and they're really close, which is a big deal for both those countries. They do not qualify for the World Cup very often. Is there something to be said that the World Cup expanded and now there's more teams allowed? Yes.
Wait,
but
really? I don't think I knew that.
yes, it's 36 teams now instead of 24. So it expanded.
It was only 24 before.
It was.
I didn't know that.
It's only like 50 countries. What?
There's only 50 countries.
With soccer teams, probably.
Oh yeah, maybe with no, that's still wrong.
How many do you think? I think it's under 100.
It's not.
It has to be.
Gotta be way more
No,
national
it's not.
teams than that. I'm gonna look this up. Or wait, no, my best thing. I'll look it up after we talk about my best thing.
But okay, he scored 2 hat tricks. He's like been really, really, really good for Ireland, and it's very exciting.
What's your favorite type of parrot?
Oh, a macaw.
That's a good answer. I'm a blue macaw guy.
Okay,
Anyways,
I'm part Irish. I'm excited for them. I hope they can reach there.
so is Kenny, I think. Anyways, moving on. Best
Best
thing I
thing.
learned. It's going to be James Franklin is off the board before the carousel really kicks into gear. Virginia Tech hires him. You can see here if you're watching on the YouTube from Nick Costco at On3. James Franklin being hired as Virginia Tech head coach. Yeah, I was pretty shocked by this. I thought James Franklin would bide his time. I thought he was going to get a landing spot no matter what. But he jumped at an opportunity he clearly liked. Was pretty heavily linked to Arkansas too. So I'm glad he's not going there, because if Mizzou is unfortunate enough to lose Drink, this would have been, Franklin would have been a guy at the top of my list for sure. I think he is a very good coach. Maybe he couldn't get Penn State over the hump in big games, but for a program that's been down on its luck like Virginia Tech, getting back up to a point where you win 9 or 10 games a year, that's, especially in the ACC, I think that's very, very big. So Virginia Tech got, I think, a pretty good hire.
Big news for South Carolina fans. Shane Beamer not going to his where his dad coached.
Yeah.
Do you think South Carolina fans are happy about that?
No. I said big news. I didn't say good news.
Yeah.
I didn't say good news. I said big news.
I think this is a good one just from a fit too. James Franklin's very good at recruiting players in the just on the Atlantic coast. And I think that's going to play into Virginia Tech's favor of actually attracting more of the top talent. Former Penn State recruits are already kind of setting up visits to go and see Virginia Tech. So I think that's going to be a big push that you're going to see over these next couple of weeks. And to get them on campus early, that's just going to help so much with that 2026 class. We've already started to lose the recruits that were committed to Pry, and Franklin's going to reportedly bring in some of his assistants from Penn State as well, as he's trying to fill out his staff and pick his coordinators. So I think this is just a good step in the right direction if you're James Franklin.
Yeah, I kind of love it. I'm excited to see how it goes for him there. Virginia Tech's a fun program that I would like to see kind of resurrected a little bit. And he definitely seems like a guy who can do that. But yeah, you make a good point. Like I think both of you are right to an extent. It's like, you'd think he maybe would wait see how things shook out a little bit more. But yeah, if you get in early, you can get recruiting done and get a little step ahead of some of these other new coaches that are going to get these jobs. So we shall see. Who had that? Payton, Kenny, your best thing you learned now.
Just a quick one. Another SEC award for this week. Defensive Player of the Week went to Toriano Pride. Good game altogether. That was probably the most you've seen Toriano Pride just around the field and his name thrown around. 3 total tackles, 2 by himself, 1 pick for a touchdown, of course. He had the fumble recovery on special teams, and he returned the interception for 81 yards. So overall, great game for Toriano Pride. The return yards, maybe that might include the fumble recovery as well.
Yeah.
So overall, just all over the place on special teams and defense. And I think Toriano Pride's really taken a step forward this year after not really maybe living up to the expectations that some had coming over from Clemson. Especially these past couple of weeks, I think you're seeing a lot better of Toriano Pride. My last thing I just want to throw out there were some East St. Louis recruits in attendance. They got there a little bit late because they had a playoff game in Illinois. And then when they came over to Missouri, they didn't get to do any of the pregame stuff, but they made it to the game and they were very excited to see Toriano play well and get to talk with him and CJ Bass and some of the other St. Louis guys in the locker room after the game.
Yeah, the one thing you can at least say about Toriano Pride is that he's a playmaker. I don't think you can deny that. And that's something certain corners on the team that also I think at times would have laps in coverage. They don't make the plays Toriano Pride makes, at least.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely an explosive player back there. 3211181 is also.
By the way, I think I have an
well.
answer on our soccer team question. The number I'm seeing, and this comes from Wikipedia. All right, I'm going to be fully transparent. But 211 men's national football teams are affiliated to FIFA through their national football associations. Yeah. So about double what you thought, Kenny.
Can you read them all?
Triple. He said 50.
That would be quadruple then.
Or quadruple.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to go through and read all these, but there's a lot. Let me put this into perspective, Kenny. Countries in the world, there are 195.
It's also a sport that you can just field a
Okay, I
team
gotta-
easily. Like I understand. Like I get it. I mean, probably
You
you know
can field a team easily.
field a team easily in soccer.
Okay,
You need
field a team.
You need 11 players, and they need to
What
know
about
how to dribble. Huh?
You field a team easier in
No,
basketball.
it is easier to. Soccer is more worldwide than basketball is.
Well,
Oh yeah,
sure,
let me
that-
just
I
go
don't-
find the
don't
first
get it.
12 6'11" guys out on the street. That's so easy.
You don't need to play with 6'11 guys. There's no
I know.
rule
I'm
that
I'm,
requires
I'm
that.
just antagonizing you.
I don't understand this.
Wait,
All
I'm
right.
Team Knowlton here. Yeah,
Yeah,
Kenny.
yeah,
it's
yeah,
not
yeah,
easy.
yeah, Kenny.
Yeah, you need to actually triple those 6'11 guys, and then that's the number.
If you
you
guys do
need.
want a fun World Cup story to get on the ground floor of right now, you should cheer for the Cape Verde Islands. They
The Cape
qualified.
Verde Islands.
Yes. Did I say Verde? Sorry, I don't know why
Yeah,
I
you
said
did.
Cape Verde
I
Islands.
love geography.
They qualified for the World Cup. Their nickname is I think it's just the Blue Sharks. And it's a country of like 150,000 people. It's tiny.
Do soccer
tiny.
teams really, like national teams, really need nicknames? Like, what is the
I think it's
U.S.
kinda
is? Are they
fun.
the Eagles?
I don't know if the US has one. But some of
Yeah,
the
they don't need to be the Cape Verde Blue Sharks.
No, that's not. They don't like. They're not going to call them that, but it's like it's kind of an unofficial. You can refer to them as that every once in a while.
The Blue Sharks with a goal.
That's
Cape
not.
Verde,
No,
by the
that's
way.
not. All right. My best thing I learned. Shout out to good friend of the program, Anthony Christensen. I'll read this like a headline, even though it's not headline of the week, but I will read it as such. Arkansas basketball defensive concerns on display in slim win over Winthrop. Thank you, Anthony Christensen.
Defensive.
I said defensive.
You said defensive.
Oh my God, who cares?
Okay, now you're getting defensive.
That was good. That was good. I'm getting
I
defensive.
think I might have said Cape Verde wrong. I think it's Cape Verde. You might have been right.
Okay. This is unbelievable. I'm gonna do a podcast by myself. Arkansas
That's been a
basketball
good job.
defense concerns on display in slim win over Winthrop. Go over to wholehogsports.com and read this article from Anthony Christensen. But good lead. John Calipari's towel went flying. I won't spoil anymore. Yeah, Arkansas almost lost to Winthrop. They needed a missed shot at the death by the Eagles to avoid an upset at home. Almost a big result for Winthrop. They kind of blew it. They were up by like 6 with a minute to go and sort of let it slip. There was a crazy ending with Nick Pringle and another guy on Winthrop got tied up, and there were double technicals. It was college basketball in November at its finest. Arkansas did escape with an 84-83 win, but yeah, a scare at Bud Walton for the Razorback boys down there.
They've been shaky a couple times this year. I mean, they did much better at Breslin against Michigan State than Kentucky did. The SEC's been kind of rough
Yeah.
in a lot of these non-con games. I think legitimately the most impressive team right now has been Alabama, which sucks.
They also lost too. They lost to Purdue and could have won that game.
That's right. You're right.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
They could have won that game too. They were up.
Has
They were up
Tennessee
late.
played anyone yet? I don't think they've lost, but I don't know
No.
if they've played anyone.
They
don't
probably
think
played
so.
at least 5 games.
Let me see.
Oh wow, this has been a rocker show. Let me tell you. You're
gonna do
right,
some
by the way,
digging.
Jack. It is Cape Verde. I pressed the pronunciation thing.
Thank you. Tennessee
Sorry,
is
my
beaten,
apologies to the Blue Sharks. I do love geography in your island.
Tennessee has beaten Mercer, Northern Kentucky, North Florida, and Rice. They will play
absolutely.
Houston on Tuesday.
That's a measuring stick. absolutely.
Auburn played Houston close. They had a good result.
They also played Bethune-Cookman
That's
close,
true.
like the overtime.
It's true. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who the Vanderbilt.
Jesus Carolero is not on Bethune-Cookman before anyone asks. I looked it up.
South Carolina's 4-0.
Okay. Who cares about that one? Come on.
Georgia is 5-0. Ole Miss is 5-0. Ole
I
Miss
feel like
beat
Ole Miss
Memphis.
has a good win in there.
This is all I have, by the way, Peyton. You can tell your joke in due course. I'm just going to keep reading SEC results.
What about
until you get it.
odds?
Oh, wait a second. We have our best beats of the week. Shout out to FanDuel.
They're calling it the show that will not end, folks.
Demarion folks. Best picks of the week. Shout out to FanDuel. Payton and myself got our picks right. Payton had the Bears plus 2.5. Payton, come on, give us a quick Bears, something for the Bears. I know you're feeling it. 7-2. They're cruising.
Yeah, they're 7-3, first of all. And they're pretty fake, but it's pretty fun to be fake good.
I had the 49ers -3. They beat the Cardinals by a lot. Kenny's Texans lost.
No, they won. They just didn't win by
They
7.
won, but
They
they
won
by
by 3.
Your bet lost. Your bet lost.
Very memorable segment with Zach telling him to take that.
Yeah. What bets do you have this week, gentlemen? Peyton, go first.
My beat of the week is going to be the Chiefs -3.5 over the Colts. The Chiefs are out of the playoffs by like 2 spots right now. I believe they're the 9 seed as we speak here on Wednesday. They just lost to the Denver Broncos. It's been a rough go of it. They're probably not going to win the division. It'd take a miracle at this point, but there would not be a postseason if there wasn't any Mahomes in it. The Chiefs run starts Sunday. They upend the Colts. I think the Colts are complete fool's gold as well. I think their tailspin is imminent. So yeah, I believe in this Chiefs team still. I think they're going to start rattling off some wins, and I think they get a big one Sunday.
I like it. Kenny?
The Texans play on Thursday, recording on Wednesday. So I couldn't do the line this week for the Bills game. So I just chose Texans 8+ wins, regular season wins, to end the year. I was looking at the schedule too. Peyton's talking about that fool's gold. The Colts, they play the Texans twice on November 30th. And then there's a flex in week 18. So date hasn't been picked for that one yet. So those two, or maybe the Texans can sneak out one there, but Texans also play Arizona and Las Vegas at home, and then Los Angeles Chargers on the road. So I think there's a room in there for 3+ wins for the Houston Texans, and they play the Chiefs on the road. So mock that up as a loss.
I like this positivity from you, Kenny.
I'm a positive person. I've always been.
It's good to see you happy.
Always have been. I am also going with favorite this week. I have the Green Bay Packers 6.5-point favorites over 9. Our guy 9 and the Minnesota Vikings. The Packers are at home. They also kind of need a win. Talk about a team that kind of sometimes feels fraudy, a fan base that kind of hates their own team. But I'm also picking this game. I'm going to this game. I will be at Lambeau on Sunday to watch the Packers and the Vikings. So I'm intrigued. So I'm going to pick it. I'm going to pick Packers.
You're going to see Max Brosmer's NFL debut. Congrats, man.
I just
That's
might.
awesome. I'm kidding, obviously. I don't think that he's going to get benched, but boy, does he not look good right now.
You don't believe in 9 in Lambeau?
No, I don't at all. This one comes from our favorite TV series, The Today Show. Guys, where do sheep go on vacation?
The Bahamas.
Yes, the Bahamas. Yes, that is the answer. The Bahamas.
The Bahamas, who have a soccer team, by the way.
Yes, Kenny, they have a soccer team.
Yeah, I know they do.
I know they do.
Sarah Lemire, thanks again.
Name all 210, Jack. You love this sport, right?
I do. I'm not going to do that.
Name all
though.
210.
No. I'll do that in the
You'll love
intro.
it.
I'll do that in the intro. You won't know. You're not going to listen to it back. All right, that'll
Kenny,
do it.
Do you think you could name more than 30 countries right now?
Right now?
Yeah.
Do you think Kenny could or I could? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah. He
No,
just
I
said,
don't think I can.
really?
No, I can.
No.
Yeah.
I think
I don't
I
think I
think
could.
I think you could. I think most people could.
No.
Most people
Kenny doesn't know what country he's in right now.
I've never really thought about it. It's like the questions, like how many words do you know? I have no idea how to ballpark.
Kenny,
that.
pick a random
neither.
country and just say it. What's the first country that comes to your mind?
Luxembourg,
Okay.
Name another one.
Vatican City.
There, you're 2 of 30.
Two
there.
already.
Mhm.
Does Vatican City count?
I don't
Yeah.
know.
They don't have a soccer team, or do they? Because I guess just everyone has one.
They don't have one. Kenny, that would be
I think
stupid. It's tiny. What are they gonna have the Pope play? All right, that'll do it for the unwritten rule. We will be back Monday. Kenny and Payton might record Saturday. It's up to them.
Nope.
They're control-
Okay,
no,
I
they
guess
won't.
we're not. That
Guess we're
settles
not.
that. All right.
I'm going to be in Jackson, Missouri.
Oh,
Vacation.
hanging
Nope.
out with the Connor Tollison coalition.
That's
All right.
impressive that you remember that.
I will. We will see you on Monday's show. We will have more hoop. We will recap.